Close.
Oh. We are live. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'm founder and CEO of Pathwaves, and I'm really excited tonight to be here with
Ana Margarita. Hi, everyone.
Martinez.
Oh, I see Gloria has joined us. Hi, Gloria.
Hi, Gloria.
So let me just get started here. Basically, the last couple of weeks, the story that brought me here has resurfaced, and a part of my life has been portrayed in a streaming channel in a way that is completely not who I am. It's totally inaccurate. I was not consulted and the production company, but instead of rehashing that story today, because I really I'm tired of talking about the same old. I'd like to talk about how I recovered from the trauma that it caused me. A very debilitating trauma, level of trauma where PTSD was involved. I had chronic PTSD, chronic depression, anxiety, flashbacks, nightmares, panic attacks. I mean, you name it, I had it. And I feel that it's more beneficial to share that aspect of the story, rather, the recovery and how I was able to overcome all of this finally after struggling for many years. So I'm happy to share that, and I think it's more beneficial for everyone that I talk more about that aspect of the story. So I basically was suffering with all these symptoms and so many more, where to the degree where I had been on medication for over 12 years. I wasn't getting better. And it was I was not very functional. My relationships were all destroyed, to say the least, because I was really a mess in many ways. And so one fine day, thank God, a friend of mine saw me in such bad shape, and he said, you have to go see Jeff Cole. My dad really benefited from this technology that he uses and this method that he uses, and it's just amazing. And it was from like night to day. And so I was desperate. I would do anything to, feel better and to be able to actually function, And so I did go to see Jeff Cole. So here's Jeff Cole, and he's gonna, we call him G now because it's easier. And so he's gonna explain how he saw me and what he did to help me.
Well, again, it's great to be here. It's I always love talking about your story because, the first thing I'd really like to say is, it's so hard to understand the depth of despair that you were in. And I mean, you presented as a woman that was really at her last stop. I mean, you literally said to me, if this doesn't work for me, I don't know. I mean, I'm done. I'm just done.
I literally said that. I said, if you can't help me, I am done. Yeah.
And I just kind of want everyone to really kind of think about, and for you to remember the level of that despair and that feeling. And I don't know if you remember, it didn't faze me at all, right? Because,
no pressure.
Right. No pressure. But, I've personally been there, so I knew how you felt. And I think you kind of knew that. And together that we were going to be able to conquer this. And so.
Well, I didn't know that until you actually did an assessment. And when you
Right.
told me what you saw, in my patterns, my neural patterns and my brain waves, I was in awe, really.
Well, and let's talk about that real quick. When anybody comes in, and like I did with you, the first thing we do is a measurement of your neural activity. And we measure that from the scalp using electroencephalogram technology. So it isn't like, we're using science and medicine. And I was able to go over your history, which is evident from everybody's neural activity when we do the measurements. And I was able to speak to you immediately about the issues you had in childhood that were still affecting you today. And a lot of people aren't really aware that those childhood traumas get exacerbated and made worse by traumas that happen later in our life. And you had significant traumas from early on that, this horrific trauma it's not properly portrayed in this movie, was just so horrific and so gut wrenching and really a strain on your ability to say, hey, I'm okay, And so, I saw that on the mapping, and, I have been on a similar journey myself using our technology and our procedures. So I felt very confident that I would be able to walk you through how to recover. Yeah. And I believe I presented that to you at that moment. And
I think so. I don't remember much, but I think you did. I was in a really bad state. Okay.
Yes, you were, and I could see a little bit, just a tiny bit of relief. A little bit of hope came in. And I think that the referral too, you knew somebody who had also struggled with through their lives, with a depression that was very, very significant, that I had helped them get relief from that. And so on the mind map, I'm able to tell really neurologically about issues that start in utero before you're born. And I think that that's really helpful in analyzing, how I got to be where I am today. And, I don't really want the issues of my early childhood to be bothering me today. I want to reconcile those. And so that's the first thing we set out doing. And, it took a few sessions.
It sure did. But, I remember it was interesting because I remember, I needed immediate results. I was already over the edge. And I needed to see some results. So what I did is, usually people do 1 session a day. I did 2 sessions a day. And but by the 3rd day, because it was already 6 sessions, I was starting to see relief. People don't understand most of the time that you can undo 50 years of trauma in 3 or 4 days. That's, that's asking a little much. So, but to my benefit, I was consistent, and I came in every day for 5 days straight, and I did 10 sessions in 5 days. And by the end of those 5 days, I felt a real relief, to the degree where I said, okay, this is working. Let me come back. And then I did 10 more sessions. Again, many people don't need this many, but I was in a very bad state. I had a lot of accumulated trauma. So I came back for another 10, but this time I did 1 a day, right? And then I took another break, and I was feeling better, and I'm thinking, wow, this is working for, after 12 years on medication, and after all these years of total insanity and unhappiness and feeling miserable, this is, there's something going on here. And then, so the end of 20, then I came back for another 10. And at the end of the session number 29, I came back the next day and I said, Jeff, whatever you did yesterday, please do it again, because for the first time in I don't know how long, I woke up without anxiety this morning. And that's like, oh my gosh. And you turned around and said, it's already done. All we have to do is, reinforce it. And what you were telling me, I understand now. I didn't understand it then, but I understand now that I had developed through this process. I had develop new neural patterns. And so what I had to do is strengthen those neural patterns. And you helped me to continue with this process and strengthen them. And honestly, I haven't had symptoms in 10 years. I haven't taken a pill in 10 years, and I'm a happy camper. So thank you. And that's
My
why we're here
pleasure.
today.
You know, and I got to tell you, knowing you then, knowing what you went through, a lot of people would say that that's a miracle. It's miraculous.
It is. It is.
Yes.
Miracles
And
exist.
I think it's important that you share that you've sent quite a few people our way who have also experienced miracles, you know, similar to
Many
that.
have. Yes, yes.
And I want to say, and these aren't like, you know, wave my hand miracles. This is all about science and proven neuroplasticity processes and protocol. And that's why we call our process neuroempowerment, right? Because I've taught you tools and techniques and ways to be in charge of how your nervous system functions. And so, I mean, I guess I probably shouldn't say this, but you could say it that every day you spend a little bit of time telling your nervous system how you want it to create your energy, because why not? It's your nervous system.
Exactly. Do you want to talk a little bit about neuroplasticity and what it is?
So neuroplasticity is the science of how our nervous system functions. Okay, so it's about the development. And I mean, if you look it up, they're going to say it's about the brain, and it's, you know, it's our brain and our spinal column. Neuroplasticity is really how, you know, this information right now, how it's getting put into our nervous system for us to be able to use later or not use later if it's not, you know, something that we want to hold on to. And then how our body, when we sleep tonight, is going to then reinforce those connections we're making right now for the next day and for the day after that. And so our process gives you a whole new outlook on life, on how to live, and designed for living, where you can optimize the natural process. So we're not doing anything that is not part of the biology of Homo sapiens. We are using the technology of today because, you know, hey, it is 2020, and we've done enough correlative analysis to be able to, we've actually cracked the code of consciousness, and we quantify it. So now we're giving you a numerical frame of reference. Because, I mean, if I were to say to you, Ana Margarita, what's normal anxiety? You'd be like, I don't know. And now we map it and give you numerical values as to where are you on the scale of what kind of how you can manage your own anxiety. And when I say manage, you know, a lot of places you go are going to say, hey, let me tell you how to cope with it. Well, like Ana Margarita is telling you, what we do is help you wake up without it. So much better, right? I don't have to just keep coping with what happens. I can change it because it's my body.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And, you know, and it's interesting how, you know, with this whole COVID situation, you know, we know a lot of people that have not dealt well with it. I mean, suicide rates have gone up. It's very stressful for many people to be stuck in the house, to not go about their, you know, normal life, to not see their family, to not be able to go out and have dinner, you know, just normal stuff, you know, and it's really very, very difficult for most of us. But I'm really amazed and I'm really thankful that, aside from the fact that I don't like certain things, I don't like to have to wear a mask, for instance. I do it when I have to, but, you know, I'm a rebel and I don't like to. It bothers me. And you know, aside from the little things which are, you know, just insignificant, you know, this whole situation has not, you know, has not affected me, you know, emotionally and psychologically, like it would have, you know, a few years ago. A few years ago, I would have probably gone into a deep depression, you know, and that's not the case at all. And I'm really happy and thankful and just grateful every day when I wake up and oh, wow, I'm really handling this. Like it's not phasing me, So I'm very thankful for that. And thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, look, it's my pleasure. I feel so blessed to have been able to accidentally and professionally and on purpose be able to create this whole process. And I really like what you were just saying. I mean, that is so important. It isn't like you have to come into me so that we can just fix you, right? It's so that we can help you be in charge from now on.
Yeah.
To be able to handle what life's going to bring and still wake up grateful. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, there's a movie out there improperly portraying you. And you're like, that's really their problem.
That's funny. That's another thing. I've had, a bunch of people call me and, concerned. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that people reach out and that they've been concerned about me. Really, thank you so much. But in reality, I haven't lost any sleep over this issue. The fact that my part of my life is wrongly portrayed, my persona is wrongly portrayed. It was done without my permission, without consulting me whatsoever. Normally, I mean, most people wouldn't handle that very well, to be real honest. And
it's a huge violation of your persona.
It really is. When you think about it, like I haven't given it that much thought. It hasn't been that significant to me, except for all the calls. And of course, I've had to deal with all the media calls, and I've granted maybe 2 or 3 interviews. I don't want to go on this media, madness. So I really tried to limit it. And that's why what I did is I recorded a statement in both languages, and I distributed it to the media because I did not want to go from interview to interview. It's just, it's very time consuming, and it just eats up your energy. So I have no need for publicity. Thank you very much. I want a private life, kind of, sort of. But it really hasn't affected me, hasn't fazed me. And most people are, surprised by that, because, it would be natural that it would, but I'm in control of my neural functions. And, thanks to all the training that I did and all the, the sessions that I did at Pathwaves, which reminds me, I should come in once in a while now, right? But I haven't been there in a long time, but which is proof that it's like a permanent thing. I don't need to go back. I can maintain my mental state, which is something that I think you should also talk about, how this is not like a pill. When you stop taking the pill, you need to, you go back to the symptoms. This is not the case here, because what you're doing is you're just changing your neural patterns. So you don't have to do that.
Right. And, I think your story kind of exemplifies that. However, I was walking down the hallway at our office last week, and a guy came up to me and said, "Hey, aren't you G. Cola?" I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "I came to you and back in 2013 and changed my life, and it's been amazing. And now I'm doing things very, very differently. And I think I could use like a tune-up, be able to do a little better with how much my life has changed." And so he came in for another 4 or 5 sessions. And, life keeps going, right? And I help people be more human and more in charge of their humanity. But there's just so much that may happen in our lives that we can't plan for. We can't necessarily be ready for. I mean, certainly a pill is not going to get us ready, right? And so it's really, as life keeps going, life changes, it's really important to keep coming back in. And, I had a husband and wife that owned an advertising agency, and they came in and it changed their lives so much. They brought in their 10 employees, and that advertising agency went from a mom and pop advertising agency to now doing advertising for countries, and each along the way, they kept coming in to step up the function.
Sorry about that.
No worries, of themselves and everyone else, And I mean, we have story after story. I had one guy who came in and he was at his job and he was trying to get a promotion. And again, we helped him change his life, and he became manager of his division. And then he became manager of the region and came back in and did another one. He said, I'm just going to come in every week. And soon he became in charge of the international division of his company. And, it's just, I have story after story after story of this. And, and your story is such a great model, right? And, it's, I really feel blessed to be able to do what we're doing. And
Amen.
I'm really excited. We're really moving forward in a lot of different areas. I'm adding on the biorhythmic. So we have a lot of new technologies that we're incorporating. Again, all scientific,
Yeah, that's another thing. The technology has developed, evolved, I would say, during the years, and also the methodology, how you use it. So it's actually, it actually works faster now, right? And I mean, you have also, you're now using coaching techniques as well. So it's a more complete program than it was back then. Even it worked miracles for me back then, but I really feel that, it's evolved to a degree where it's a lot faster. You get faster results, and, and you get to learn a whole lot more. You get a lot more education.
Yeah. So we are fully integrating psychological and coaching, life coaching techniques with the neurotechnology now. Back then, we would do the neurotechnology and then kind of talk a little bit and then do the neurotechnology. Now, every session in the neurotechnology is fully integrated with the psychological and life coaching sessions that we have before we do the neurotech sessions. So, I mean, it's a full integration now. And we're moving that into physiological sensors. So we're even taking it a whole level higher than it has been. So yes, you're right. I mean, we've advanced significantly since you did it originally. I mean, when people come in now, they get a neuropath quant, which gives them a numerical, report of the different states of mind. And it's so much more precise in how we're able to deliver the process.
It is.
And yeah, this is one of the reasons why the United States Air Force contracted with us to be able to help the servicemen. We really have advanced everything. And in the next 6 months to a year, I'm going to advance it even more because we're adding on full biological neuropathic readings and biofeedback that's going to be coming. So there's just so much more coming. I'm so excited, and eventually we're going to be creating a wearable that'll be able to go at home. So I mean, Ana Margarita, how many times have I looked at you and said, I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm done. Be an entrepreneur in this area of business where you're innovating and you're just really, I'm really hacking into psychology and biology and speeding up and really adding science.
It's so fascinating. I have a friend who actually, she's watching right now, who went in today and she was blown away. She's blown away. And by the way, we can only see the comments of people that are in this platform, but we can't see the ones on Facebook. I don't know how we're gonna handle that. If anybody has any questions, anybody that's on here and has any questions, you can write them in the chat and, we can reply to them. But other than that, you can visit the website. It's Pathwaves, PATHWAVES Life, pathwaveslife.com. And on the page, you can see the link to all our social media as well. Yeah, it's on his shirt, Pathwaves.
Not Pathwaves Life, though.
So waves like in brain waves. So and path is like, this is the path you want to go on,
Path to better brain waves.
Yes. So we can you can visit our website, pathwaveslife.com. You can give us a call. I think schedule a call from the website. And Janine wants to know more about my story and how I got through it. Oh gosh. What I have to say to that is don't watch the movie because that's not my story, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Up, so yeah, for those of you that are not familiar, I was married, unknowingly married to a Cuban spy, and there's a whole big episode about it. 1996, Brothers to the Rescue shootdown. He returned to Cuba. That's how I found out on CNN. Total shock. Lovely, right? And, yeah. So but the thing is that was a huge event in my life, a huge a traumatic event. And Jeff saw that on my brain map. He said, around this age, 35, 36, you had a huge event that threw you over the edge. But in reality, that was the event that threw me over the edge. But I had a lot of accumulated trauma. And he even, I believe you said I had trauma at every stage of my brain's development, starting with my mother's third trimester. So, like he was saying, trauma is accumulative. Symptoms get worse with time. Is that my brain map?
It's your original brain map.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you still have that thing.
Well, I just printed it. I have it. I have the data in my computer.
Oh, I thought
I printed it yesterday. So I'm looking at it now going, yes, you're right. I can see it there. I can see it here. Oh yeah, over here too. Yes.
You can still see how insane I was. So yeah, it was the accumulation of trauma and then that big, huge, awful event that happened to me that just, that's it. And then with the years and medication and so forth, I was getting progressively worse. And, I was in a really, really bad state to the degree where, yes, I told Jeff, I don't want to, life. I said, life is daily torture. This is not fun to be on this earth right now. So if you can't fix me, I'm done, and
like, let's go. All right.
But honestly, I have never been happier in my life. I've never had more peace, mental peace in my life, and we all have our moments, but I know what my triggers are, and I know how to say no and stop them in their tracks. And that is so empowering. That is the most empowering thing you can experience. So yeah, they do not have a hold on me, Anything else you want to add?
Well, I gotta say, I really appreciate you being so open and sharing. And,
of course.
Yeah, you've been a big fan of ours and a big part of the organization, and I want to thank you for all the help that you've given. I mean, I know that you've sent a lot of people over to Pathways who have gotten great benefits. So it's, I know it's a win-win for everybody who comes in. Yeah. It's I feel so blessed to have been able to help so many people, and so blessed to be able to continue to help people. And that's why we're talking here. We're talking here to really let people know that there's a fantastic option that's now available through Pathways. And
yeah, Janina's asking me if I tried other things.
Why did you try other things?
Psychologists, psychiatrists, voodoo. No, I'm kidding. Medication for many years, and yeah, medication, please. The medication was awful. I would wean myself off of it because I hated being drugged. I felt robotic, and I would need to take. So I was on antidepressants, anxiety medication, and medication for sleep. The medication for sleep one time made me hallucinate because I got up in the middle of the night. That was horrific. I don't want to be drugged like that, So, and some of it is addictive. So, you know, it's like you're trying to solve one problem and then you create another one, right? I don't want to become an addict. Anyway, I don't know.
You know, on that note, I have a lot of people who come in that are on medication and they're miserable, just miserable. And they say to me, you know, I've been on this med for 5, 6 years, and I feel horrible, and I don't know what to do. And I mean, my day, you know, like that movie, The Groundhog Day. You know, I'm just living the same thing over and over and over again. And it's just gray and bleak. And I'm like, why are you still taking the meds? You know, and the reality is there are not a lot of options, and the options out there cause a lot of problems for some people. And I mean, sometimes they work for a while, or they work, and I'm not knocking all medicine.
Yeah, sometimes you need them temporarily. But I would say that 12 years is way too long to be on meds, and that was my case. And I know that I referred someone to you a few years ago that had been on meds for over 20 years, and she got off of her meds really quickly. And she's, you know, I actually ran into her about less than a few months ago, about a year ago actually. And she approached me and said, "Oh my gosh, I have to thank you. I've never been happier in my life, and no meds, you know." So,
Yay!
yeah, that's really gratifying, you know, and that's why I share my story, and that's why I tell everyone about this. And, you know, some people may think, "Oh my gosh, she doesn't stop talking about pathways." Yeah, well, you know, when something changes your life, you want to share it. You know, when something changes your life, you want others to know, so that they can also benefit and change their lives and live happy, you know, joyful lives. And have better relationships, and just enjoy life. Whereas when you're depressed and anxious and have all these symptoms going on, you can't enjoy life. It's just something that you do every day, but you're just present. You're kind of just existing, not living, and that's how I felt.
So I also want to kind of say, you know, we're not just for people who are down and having a really hard time. You know, if you're having a hard time functioning, we help you function better. If you're functioning well, we help you function even better. And if you're a high performer, we help you go to the next level. And I have a lot of high performers who come in and say, "I'm performing great, but I just can't feel anything."
Yeah.
So now we can help you really reap the rewards, like you're saying, Ana Margarita, that you can be happy.
Amen.
You know.
I remember I've referred a couple of friends who had kids in college and were having a difficult time. One was having panic attacks while in law school, and actually, you know, sleeping with her parents because, you know, she just couldn't sleep. So nobody was sleeping, you know, and she came in, and she, you know, she's doing really, really well. Her parents are super happy. Her parents have actually referred people to us as well. You know, it's just amazing. It really, really is amazing. And you know, it's like anything else in life. Results are usually not in 2 days. You know, how much trauma do you actually have? You know, how many years of accumulated trauma do you have? Do you expect to get rid of it in 2 days? No, you've got to do your work. You know, you've got to be consistent. Like in anything else in life, if you want to get something done, you need consistency, and you need to follow the plan. You know, when Jeff says you need 10 sessions and you need to do them consecutively, you know, that's what you need to do. And, you know, some people don't do them consecutively. Some people don't need to. It just depends, you know, and he knows better than anyone else, and Ryan as well. You know, they're professionals. This is what they do. This is their expertise. But consistency is the key to everything. So
let me go ahead and speak. Let me go ahead and speak to that just real quick.
Yeah.
So I've been working in this field since 2001, and found the neurotechnology in 2007. And we've had over 1,300 people come through Pathways. It wasn't always called Pathways, but it's been our organization. And they've done over 16,000 sessions cumulatively, and each session has at least 10 brainwave maps that I'm looking at. So I reviewed over 160,000 brainwave maps and really reviewed over 1 million minutes of brainwave data. So I've accidentally just trying to help people become one of the world's leading experts in brainwave analysis. And so when you come to Pathwaves, you're getting, a little bit of that. So I just want to, you said, we're professionals. We are truly the top professionals in what we're doing. And, and we can help anybody really optimize the way their neural function helps them do what they want. And like athletes, a lot of time athletes have all the skill and all the ability, and they just can't figure out, what is that one little thing that holds me back? And they also have a lot of work that is done trying to help them with performance anxiety. And, for us, that's just quick bread and butter. It's really easy when we do the mapping to just know precisely where it is in their psyche that's causing the issues that hold us back from reaching our potentials. And, and that's just so important. And and the reality is, like I was saying to a client that came in today, the data that we have on the gamma waves that we're creating, that's not the same thing as gamma waves from the sun or anything like that. It's a whole different animal. Anyway, but at that level of the psyche, the research that we have in our clinical application is really unmatched. And so, the issues that she has in that area of her functioning, there really isn't anybody else that can look at it, analyze it, discuss it with her, and then create a plan for her to get in charge of how it's functioning in her life and be able to make whatever changes she wants with that. I'm not going to tell her how, she should live her life. I'm going to give her some options and then help her build that. And I think that's a lot of what you're saying, is that you get to, no matter what's happening in your life, create the neural activity the way you want. So you get to wake up happy, even though all this, I don't want to say it live, but all this crap is going on around you, So I just wanted to segue into that.
Janine is asking about, how long, how fast does this work compared to therapy? Well, with therapy, talk therapy, talk therapy is really very limited. It's kind of like, they tell you, I don't know, they give you advice basically, or possibly give you techniques and stuff like that, but they can't go, they can't go and change your neural patterns and help you change your neural patterns. They can give you techniques to do it. It just like it's proven that yoga or actually meditation changes how your brain functions, right? But it takes a long time. And, and again, the key is consistency. You have to meditate consistently. And then maybe after months on end, you will get the results that you want. But with, with this technology and with this methodology, the changes that you want and to accomplish, you can accomplish so much faster. And it's just, to me, it was miraculous. It's just, there's no comparison to anything that I had ever done. Certainly not just talk therapy. Talk therapy, I think, in coaching is important. There's a place for it. Pathways tries to combine it because that way you understand exercises and techniques that you need to try to do in order to reinforce the work that you're doing while you're in session, right? But the other thing that I wanted to mention, I don't know if you wanted to talk more about that.
Well, yeah, we also will coordinate care with anybody's therapist or life coach. And so when Ana Margarita says we try to do that, it also depends on how much your provider wants to integrate with us. We are fully integrating the process in our office. So I can give full reports to whoever you want, and they can integrate it in your therapeutic practice any way that you want them to. And I've had great conversations with psychiatrists, psychologists, neurologists. We have neurologists on our board. We're working on joint studies with neurologists, and I mean, this is fully integrated with medicine and psychology. So,
I also wanted to add that, I went through this process 10 years ago. I have returned on occasion for, reinforcement, kind of like, we have a mind gym now where people that have gone through the process come in twice a month, just kind of like to maintenance and to, to take it to another level. I believe when something works, you want to continue and take it to another level, right? It's not that you need it, you don't need it, but you want to continue to get better. So I went through this process 10 years ago. I have, I return every few months, just do a session or two because it's wonderful. I enjoy being there. But about 2 years ago, I joined the team because I want to help to create awareness. I told Jeff one time, you have the best thing that I've ever experienced. That this changed my life. I am forever indebted to you, but people don't know you exist. So what do we do about this? You people need to know you exist. And so, and that's why I joined the team about 2 years ago. And, I'm happy to be on board with, an incredible team. They're a wonderful, wonderful team. So thank you.
Thank you for that, yeah. So there's somebody asking something in Spanish. Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, do you want me to break out my Spanish?
Hola.
Puedo hablar español, pero hablo español gringo.
Gracias por estar aquí. Gracias por el apoyo moral. So I think we want to conclude. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, I think that what you were saying about the ongoing coming in twice a month is an important feature to talk about real quick.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go to the gym to get your six-pack abs, you get your six-pack abs mentally. And so to keep them, you got to keep coming back just like you do with a gym. So,
but the key, I think it's also important to point out that even when I don't come back in, my mind has never gone back to, the state it was in, no matter what. I've never needed to go back on pills. Again, I was consistent. I did what I was told to do. I didn't just jump out of the chair when I wanted to. I stayed there and I did my sessions. And consistency.
Well, yes, we do teach a home workout, right? So you can keep doing it in your daily living. It's not a workout. It's like a mindset, a little bit of a different change of outlook, and then how to meditate so you can maintain on your own. So you don't have to come in. It's not a need thing. It's more of a want thing.
Yeah. It's like I said, when something makes you feel good, when something makes you function better at a higher level and be happy, well, it's really wonderful to be able to just take it to another level. And it's like the more meditation you do, the more peace of mind you acquire and the more control of your mind and your actions and your reactions you acquire. Well, this is so much more because, you're doing it. The effect is so much faster and is so much more permanent. So Ariel, when was the moment?
I have a question to you about.
When was the moment on the Pathways program that you knew you would heal? Well, I was telling the story earlier, but I started seeing, subtle changes after the first few sessions. And then, you know, like I did first 10 sessions. I did 10 sessions in 5 days. Which most people don't do, but you know, I needed quick results. So I decided, okay, it's now or never. I need results now, not yesterday. And so I did, you know, a lot of sessions, 10 in 5 days. That's 2 hours each. And after like the first few, you know, I started feeling some subtle changes. After I completed the 10, I felt like, okay, this is working, really working. And, you know, I came back for another 10, and I saw more changes. And again, I had a lot of trauma to deal with. Some people see changes within the first 3 sessions. You know, everybody is different. So, you know, after session number 29, I came back and said, Jeff, whatever you did yesterday, please repeat it, because I woke up for the first time, and heaven knows how long, without anxiety this morning. That was just amazing to me. And, you know, he turned around and said, it's already done. All you have to do is, you know, all we have to do is reinforce it. So if you want to elaborate on that, Jeff, what did we have to do to reinforce it?
So, yeah, like you said, we had to crack through a lot of years of trauma. We also had to crack through some genetic wiring and trauma. So it took a few sessions. But once your system starts to work that way, you can just do the gentle reminders and what we call self-betterment exercises, which are self-direction on how to function. And that'll keep reinforcing it. Like I told you, hey, it's already set. It's in place. All you got to do is keep practicing the tools that we taught you, and you'll be able to do it, you know. And I mean, I kind of think that I wanted to reflect real quick. You know, first of all, I really liked Ariel's question, and I liked how she said heal, because that's actually a big thing that we do differently than most of the modalities out there. Is we help you heal the mental traumas. You know, and I mean, how many places are going to be able to say they do that? And you know, and we start with that assessment, right, where you sat down and I mapped out. And here's that brain map, right? We start there.
You have not framed that thing? Come on. I'll autograph it. What do you think?
We start there, and we're able to tell you how you feel, how you function, without asking you all the questions, and when it started and why. And I think that really gives a lot of people a lot of hope that we can then help you heal. Because at that moment, we can be more precise with our practices and our protocol, which are the healing protocol. You know, we're not going to have to paint across the board and throw a bunch of stuff on the wall and see if this works. You know, I mean, I don't think I've ever said to anybody, hey, let's just try this and we'll see what happens. You know, typically I'm saying, here's what we're working on, and here's how this is going to help you. So let's get her done, you know? And, so,
you know,
I mean,
another great thing is that in order to address it with this methodology, you don't have to rehash all of your issues or even talk about them, because it's really not necessary. And so I thought that was awesome, because I had been to, you know, therapists for 12 years and it felt like forever. And, you know, at one point, I can't say it didn't help me at all, because at one point it helped me to understand, you know, the trauma and what I was processing. But, you know, understanding it and then healing it are two completely different things. So that to me was a huge plus. You know, okay, I've talked about it enough. I just want to heal it, you know, get it over with, cut it out, get it out of my life and out of my mind. So yeah, that's a huge benefit.
All right. Well, there's lots more to come at Pathwaves, and lots more with Ana Margarita Martinez, and you know, hopefully are you gonna create a rebuttal movie that's gonna say, hey, this is really what happened?
There is always a possibility. Never say never.
I for one would love to see that. I have to tell you, I did try to see this movie thing. Yeah. I couldn't. It was horrible. It's actually so bad I couldn't sit through it.
Yeah, it's a really bad movie.
It didn't make sense. I mean, the storyline was just ridiculous. I mean, it just didn't make, yeah.
It got awful reviews.
Well, I can see why. It was horrific. I mean, I know the story, and I still couldn't follow the story. I mean, it's not bad. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend watching the movie. I'd recommend really paying attention to what we're talking about here. We're talking about a real life, horrific, traumatic situation that we want to help lots and lots of people who have, that kind of existence in their life, improve their lives and get to a whole other level of living. And,
amen. Amen.
So, Ana Margarita, thank you so much for everything. Really,
my pleasure. Thank you for saving my life. Literally, saving my life.
Pleasure.
So, to everyone, thank you for joining us. Please visit pathwaveslife.com. You can sign up for a webinar series that we are doing. Well, actually, it's Jeff that's doing a webinar series, but we'll be doing a whole lot of other things. Ariel calls me Snow White. I love you. And also, the links to our social media are there. Please, follow Pathwaves. There's a lot of information that we will be sharing, and Jeff's got a lot to share, a lot to teach you, and all of us. So thank you all for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.